and their families offer insight and advice about how they dealt with their illness and its impact on their lives. You will see that no two families react exactly the same way to breast cancer. All family members' responses are different, but valid for them. As you meet the families on this tape, we hope you will recognize yourself in parts of the stories and will feel less fearful and alone as you and your family travel on the road to recovery.
I think for me, the biggest lesson I had to learn, and he really had to kind of force me to accept this, was that I needed to ask for help sometimes, that I couldn't do everything on my own. And he really had to kind of drum it into me, that it was a time in my life that I couldn't do it all, and that not only was it okay for me to ask for help, but that it was imperative for all of us.
We just kind of plowed through all together, and again, with Pat's support, was extremely helpful for me. I mean, besides the fact, like I said, with the whole knowledge issue at the beginning, he was just there. He was, the old cliche, he was my rock, and he was just great.
In regards to being present with Paulette while our doctors were there, I felt very much included in the conversation. In fact, the doctors kept pushing us, are there questions that you want to ask? Are there questions you want to ask? They knew that we were there as family and were supportive, and I was impressed. We weren't shut out. We were a part of our support team, and the doctors recognized that.
I'm employed full-time, so after the initial diagnosis, of course, there were other appointments set up. So I took a week off from school, and I went with her to all of these appointments. And here in the house, there were times when she just needed to be with somebody and just let it all hang out. So I was there for that.
It was very difficult for me to be on the receiving end of all of the support. It was wonderful, and certainly it was something that I appreciated and I needed it. But being the mom, I always felt like it was my role to be the caregiver. And so it was very difficult to have those roles turned around and to feel as helpless as I did.
I really didn't think that my husband would just abandon me. I suppose I should have seen it coming, but I didn't. And I really thought I'd have more support from my family, not my children, but my family. The non-support that I had was, I think, the most traumatic thing. Not only learning that I'd had breast cancer, but learning that I had absolutely no support.
I was very independent. I'm strong. I make decisions, and I do certain things.
You have to follow their leads in terms of what it is that they want. You can't give a person something that you think that they need. You just have to be family.
It was wonderful because I knew they were there if I needed them.
I did absolutely nothing special. I mean, I didn't come up. I was just a...
You were there honey, you were there on the phone, and that supportive of talking to her on the phone, that meant a lot to Ma. I mean, she needed us all to be with her, and you were with her. Even though you were miles away, you were here, and Ma felt that.
Good.
As a father, a parent, a breadwinner, I was feeling pulled and torn in a lot of different directions. And I had just started a new job. And what I did was, I was seeing such need that I went out and figured out how I could, if necessary, get loans to get us through financially. And I made a decision to take our savings, and I left my job. So I felt like the most important thing was to be here with Diane and the kids.
Basically, my support system was my partner, my business partner, and a woman that I worked with because I still was working at a real job at the time. whose mother had gone through breast cancer, an old and dear friend of mine, and one of the artists that works in the studio who has a gay daughter. So mostly they were people that related to my lifestyle.
I don't know if you can train someone to be supportive. I think that a lot of it is like it's inherent into who you are and what you're all about as a person as to how you can help somebody else. And sometimes you do it not just to be a part of it or to, you know, I'm going to help this person, but because you care about that person. It's a natural flow of your love and your caring for that person is to make soup.
To think that another unexpected advantage was that there were so many adults, both in our families and in the community, who came to our aid, whether it was coming to take care of the kids or drive them to activities or bringing meals over, coming and just keeping us company, that our children learned through that experience that there were other adults in their lives that could take care of them.
I was so afraid. I was so afraid. My grandmother had died of it, my mother, you know, and I didn't want to leave my children with no one, and it was not fun. Not fun.
I always feel that I don't worry about prognosis because all I want to do is live. I don't want to talk about dying. I mean, it's easy to die. Living is the problem. Okay.
I was very selfish. My first thoughts were, how am I going to do everything by myself? What if the worst happens? Fearful about, trying to raise the kids by myself. Apprehensive about whether I could do everything that she was doing. If I was going to have to, whether it would change her or our relationship. Basically fear and apprehension.
The biggest challenge, I think, was just having to tell the kids and have them worry along with me, because to me that's a challenge, because I could make it by myself, but
Yeah.
I didn't want them worrying about something that I didn't think was that bad, you know.
Even my everyday normal stuff was hard because I was always thinking, is Mom okay? And it was just very hard for me to do everything.
I think that's a big piece for me in terms of what I've learned about our children through this. I had such fear of how they would handle it, and I've learned that they truly are very strong, and that we need to be committed to doing all the things that we can do to help them continue to be strong and self-reliant, so that whatever life brings their way, whether it's breast cancer or all the other challenges that they'll face in life, that they develop the muscles that they will need to be independent and get on with their lives and make the best out of things.
It was challenging to me during this period with my family to be able to express myself, express maybe my needs, because a lot of times they would ask me, what do I need, and I wouldn't have any idea. I didn't know what it was that I needed, so I would just have to say, just be there, or just don't be there, or just leave me alone, or don't leave me alone, conflicting kinds of things. So I'd say yes, a challenge was expressing myself.
She was doing so well. What is this going to mean for the work that she had started? What is this going to mean for the dream that she had already started to put into place and bring into fruition? So our concern was for her physically, and our concern was for her dreams. Would she be able to have a family, children, get married, all of those things that parents envision for their children?
I had a worry cup, which was actually a cup that I had made a little while before at art camp. It was actually an Invisible Man mug, but I was wondering what to do with it. Then Mom got this great book, Becky and the Worry Cup, and we read it. And the next day we went to the fabric store and bought buttons, and whenever I had a worry, I'd pretend that the worry was the button, and I'd just put it in the worry cup and it would go away.
if someone is going to be in a supportive situation, I think the biggest challenge for that person is probably going to be able to putting yourself, outside your body and just not being concerned with yourself at that time, and also to understand that that the person might have different reactions, different things, and there's a lot of anger that comes out, and there's a lot of, and it's not focused towards that person, but if you happen to be in the room at that time, then boom, you're going to get it.